Hey everybody, Customikes here. We are witnessing the Grand National Roadster Show, building manager and volunteers appreciation dinner in Van Nuys at Galpin Speed Shop. Thank you, Dave Shuten and Galpin, for hosting this event, and thank you to Jeff and everybody that put it together. It is a fantastic little setup to have an event at, and it is kind of a changing over the guard in a ways, with Jim stepping out and Jeff stepping in. And so we're going to kind of just walk around, watch some of the clips, and enjoy just what you can see at their cool little workshop in Van Nuys. So just follow along and enjoy the incredible collection that they have put together. I do enjoy walking through that. This is probably my fourth or the fifth time I've been in, and it's ever changing. There's new cars and things move around, and Dave handles things getting shipped out and found and bought and restored and everything in between, and it makes for a really, really good half a day or day, depending on what time you have to spend there. But a lot of unique items, mostly, our culture is very ingrained, especially with music and customs and outrageous cars and people, but what they have managed to put together here is truly mind-boggling. Yeah, I'd like to have that name right there. Anyway, gonna walk through this place with me, and I'll just make comments here and there, like when you walk in and you actually get to, well, I didn't touch it, but I wanted to. But being that close to the Batmobile, for example, is a true spirit enhancing event, and all the bearers memorabilia, and the customs that are brought in from all over the place and all over, and all kind of conditions. And some of these things too, I built when I was a kid, the scale models, and to stand here and watch them and walk around them and smell it and get the feel for it, and enjoy the stuff that they put together is just unreal, actually. And it is such a wonderful experience. Thank you, Dave, and everybody at Galpin, for putting this together. I think we would have lost a lot of the history around custom cars if it weren't for these boys and gals. Oh, Elvira. I like Elvira. I had one of those posters at my shop up in Newman for many years. Memories. Just memories. Good memories. Love what they did to this thing. So many old customs too, and you look at the ideas and the things they did, and there was no holds bar. Everything was okay. It's like you could find it at the home improvement store, or little handles from drawers, and any little chrome doodads you found, or they're making all kinds of stuff to make things beautiful. I mean, you look at those headers, little snake bit, and the colors and dingle balls, all the cool things that they got put together. You can drive around and have your own Shangri-La there. And pray to your God of choice. I love that uncertainty. I love the scale model box that they have there too. So many cool things. And I wish I could film everything, every little doodad that's everywhere, but you really have to try to go to an event like this when Dave has other stuff going on too, to really enjoy it. If you're going to enjoy it for real, you got to be there probably 4 or 5 hours at least because there's so much stuff in the display cases, and like I said, every time I come, there's something new sitting in there that I haven't seen before, or they swap it out. They have multiple museum locations too, but this is the one that Dave handles most of the time, and also where they do a lot of work. We couldn't film in the workshop area this time because they have some special projects there going on, so we're gonna have to respect that. But some of the early videos we've taken from there, we'll show you some of the stuff from inside the workshop area. So just go back through our YouTube and you can see some of those videos. We're in dream territory here. I built several of these models when I was a kid in Sweden. Now I'm here, living a dream at Galpin Motorsports. Actually living, breathing, touching these incredible dream machines. Life doesn't suck all the time. Talk about a hard top. I had many of these art pieces, like that one for sure, at my house in Sweden, and that one, and that one, and the top one. Thank you for your inspiration. And I still have a couple of them at the shop, and I haven't one rolled up, so to be saved. It's incredible the inspiration that Robert Williams and many other artists have been throughout my life, you know, and you see some of these creations and, you know, you got to think about what was in their minds at the time, or the executives that requested the builds, or customers that paid for these builds, you know, and they created dreams in kids all across the world for eons to come. And I just want to be grateful to Robert and many other artists that every day create something that lights a fire in a kid's mind. It's just so awesome to see all of these things and experience it, and kind of have my life go full circle where I'm standing here in what's kind of like the Shangri-La of custom culture stuff. And I'm sorry about the airplanes coming across above. I'm sitting in the backyard in Southern California. It's probably about 80 degrees, about 20, 25 degrees Celsius, in a t-shirt, recording this voiceover because I'm sick and tired of how the YouTube and everybody handles the music in the background. So, but just enjoying watching this again, and enjoying the clips that I took, and, you know, documenting what I see and feel, and, you know, and it is such an honor to be around all this stuff, and having the opportunity to be inspired at this level and see how it was done, or, you know, good, bad, or indifferent. Some were built simply because an executive at a movie studio had X amount of dollars to work with, and they built them the best they could within those budgets. And sometimes there's compromises that you're going to have to live with, but, you know, don't let it stop you from building a car the way you want to. You can always improve on it later, you know, or fix it or whatever. When I built the Mini Merc, there was like 5 different versions of it, and every time I thought I was finished, I'd just sitting in the car, she'd go, oh, that doesn't look right, and, you know, and then I'll tear back into it again, and it'll turn into another version, and so on and so on. And, you know, it's one thing if you have an unlimited budget, but most of us don't, and we don't have unlimited time either. We have families and all that other stuff, so. But I digress. There's so much cool stuff to see here. You know, Ed Big Daddy Roth was another huge influence, and when it comes to creating stuff from nothing or very little, he was a master. You know, his mindset and thought processes and uh, ideas that he came up with is just way out there. You know, and it's the same with a lot of Barry's, and there was a lot of craftsmen that worked at Barry's too. You know, the Dean family, and there's so many more. And I liked a lot what Sam did, because it was more on the design quality side, versus George stuff was more outrageous and movie star or movie supportive of crazy out there stuff. But doesn't make any particular one right or wrong. They were all inspirational in their own way. And you got Winfield. They got a lot of Winfield stuff in there too, which is really cool too. Get to see it, get to see the differences, and see the stuff that they created. The Fade Master. But it's the same there. Gene built to the budget of the customer and or what he had in his backyard and what he felt like putting together. And you got to respect the stuff that they have built and how they built it with the resources they had at the time. You may choose to do it differently at a higher level, which is totally okay. I spent a few weeks with my friend Chris up in Vegas, and he's a stainless steel artist with the mindset of a tool and die guy. And he wants what he wants, and he wants it within 30 seconds of an inch. And I'm more of a that is close enough body guy type of deal. And but if we respect each other, we can build to whatever level that the customer decides, and or the budget can handle, or the time that you have, whatever works. You may not have all brand new parts. You may have to go pick stuff out of the junkyard, like many of these guys started with. So anyhow, I'm just rambling over the video and trying to drown out the music that is actually under fair play in the background. But and also, every time I see some of this stuff, I think, what were they thinking? Whoever made the first bubble top, it probably was an airplane thing, But and then they figured it out, and they plywood and vacuums and all this other stuff, and heating of the flames until they got the ideas better. And by the way, I love all the Rat Fink stuff he's got over there in every color too. Those little on the upper left there, the figurines. There's a lot. You can spend hours just looking at the stuff in those cases too. So, absolutely love that big scale box on the corner too. Like I said, every time I go there, I see more stuff, or I see a detail on a car that was built that I didn't see before, and and then as you evolve as a person, there's different things that become priority to you, and as you grow and learn and observe, things become more interesting, and you look at more details, and and I mean, somebody made those lake pipes, and there's a lot of detail on those. There's a lot of work in that too. And same with the upholstery, the upholstery in the inside of the bed, and somebody lovingly put that stuff together. So yeah, even the sign guy that's making it, and guy that does the gold leafing, the hours that are put into this stuff, and the ideas and the stuff that were in their head when they were painting it. And you look at some of those graphics and go, what were they thinking? And even when one of my mentors is Rod Powell, and I look at some of his drawings, and I know there's some pain and madness and anger and joy and everything in between in some of those. And you would love to hear the stories about what was going on in their mind when they came up with some of those things. I just love seeing them all together like this, and get an idea of the things that they went through in their life to get to this point. I don't know. It's mind-boggling in ways. And you also got to respect the amount of stuff that they got done in their lifetimes, you know. And I know some of the shops had many people helping, and some of them didn't get credit too. And you know, if you did any of the work and behind the scenes, you know, more power to you, you know. Most custom cars are not built by a single person. There's a whole team of people that helps, anywhere from the chrome guy to the engine guy to the tire guy to the pinstripe guy or sign guy or upholsterer. I mean, you know, there's so many things that go into building something, and it's very, very rarely a single person that does it from the bottom to the top. So giving credit is due. And even the mini mark, there was a whole team at the body shop I worked at the time, and you know, my ex-wife made the upholstery, and we bought a machine, and she did that, and you know, it's never one person. One person is usually the driver or the push behind it, you know, and the motivational factor. And you know, I was the one that kept going when things felt like silly. I mean, I remember I looked at my log, and I had over 4,000 hours tied up in it, and I was not even halfway done. And I'm just like, you know, try to bill for that is impossible, you know, unless you have a customer that is really dedicated and have the resources. But, you know, fortunately, there are some people that are that way, and they want the best of the best of the best, and they want all your ideas. But when you build your own project, I think I probably had 8,000 hours in that when I was done. There was parts off of, if I remember correctly, 22 cars in there. And, you know, and some of the stuff I modified 4 or 5 or 6 times because I wasn't happy with what I did at the time, with the skill I had at the particular time, or even what I was able to see, because I couldn't see my own mistakes at times. And there was people that pointed stuff out, and we're sitting at car shows, and then I go, oh my God, I can't unsee that. And even now, years later, as I'm building the Volvo wagon, one of my friends in Sweden pointed out that the headlights are too big for the proportion of the car, and he's right. He was absolutely right. And you know, that's why we did on the new Mini Merc wagon we're doing. We took the 5.5-inch headlight rings, and then we put the 7-inch headlights behind them to find a happy medium between the small and the large round lights that are available. And you know, I've had so many people come and help with the portions of almost all my builds. I can't take credit for any of the builds that I've done, because there's dozens of people that I've helped over the years, or been the instigator, or have come here and hung out and helped with various stages of everything that I've had the opportunity to build. So thank you to all of those. But that's kind of what Dave and everybody at Galpin is doing with this, is creating a tribute to all those people and what they have built. And you know, I'm sure if you actually listen to Dave and the stories that he's gotten behind everything that's in there, probably of who's done what and where, and some of them there aren't any history on, but knowing how Dave and everybody are over there, there's probably a lot of stuff. If you had time to sit down with them, we can talk about each one of the builds. So, you know, was the U.S. mail truck something that U.S. mail wanted to done, or is it just an idea that took off? Got a letter from somebody saying something like that, and it triggered an idea, or and stuff in electronics and cool lights and speakers in the headrest and telephones inside the center columns, consoles. There's just so many ideas, and they just pile on each other, and you go larger, bigger, and you can find chrome doodads, and you put them all together and stick them on. I wonder how many things they made and stuck on and go, nah, that's not right. Oh, no, this is better. And then they lay in the corner, and then all of a sudden you find another thing that, I can do those taillight things and put them in front, fill that hole that I didn't know what to do with, or, just thousands of different ways. And, who came up with a blue plexiglass ID. I mean, it looks so cool with that paint job, and it just sets the thing off completely. I mean, it just fine tunes everything, gives it that special glow, and just makes it something you never forget, you know. Same with all those bubble tops, but they are so hot. You gotta have a good air conditioning underneath there, you're being baked. And then, can you imagine? I bet you George and everybody that built this thing was just like little kids. Oh, we need to add this, we need to add that, you know. And all the ideas. I mean, where do they come from? You know, how do they evolve? It's just so many things to think about. You know. Even Elvira, where did they get that from? Do they have that made? Do they find it? You know. Again, stories. And even your own build. I mean, I watched several of my friends that are building cars in their back garage and wondering, what is it that they came up with this idea or that idea, or, you know. And then I see them evolve, and I see them fail, and I see them pick their pieces back up, and then come up with a different idea after they talk to their friends or visited the shop and ask for advice. And, you know, and some of those things just get cut off and thrown away, and there's tens, maybe even hundreds of hours in something that failed, and for one reason or another. But you can't be afraid of trying. You know, you got to try. You know, if you don't try, if you don't fail, you never learn anything, and your stuff doesn't evolve. So, but also I wanted to chat a little bit about all the volunteer stuff. We've been, you know, Customikes Dream Team has been part, and friends have been part of volunteering for setting up the stanchions and ropes and a few other things at the Grand National Roadster Show. And it was really nice to be invited to this luncheon, which is kind of a handing off or passing it forward type of event too, like I said earlier. And it, you know, it's been very rewarding over the years, and I want to thank you to John and the staff at Rodshows for the opportunities that they have been giving us over the years. You know, from the volunteer work and some of the covers that we do, and this thank you luncheon was a nice things put together by Jeff Givens and a few others, and so thank you for that. But you know, events like that can't. It just can't get happening without a lot of people, and not all of them. You know, if you had to pay for every single person that's in there, the show is going to be so expensive that nobody wants to come. So that's part of the reason why you have all these volunteers helping, so that it can become a viable business. So we have to respect that too. You know. John couldn't have a show without everybody building this, but we wouldn't have anywhere to show the stuff we build if we didn't have people like John and the staff at Rodshows and all the volunteers and building managers that help put all this together. So this event, like I said, is an appreciation luncheon thing for the building managers and all of the volunteers that help put that show together. And it gives us another opportunity to enjoy all this cool stuff. There you go again with I love these things, and they got them all in different colors. And I can't remember how many it was. It must have been 10 or 15 of them sitting up there. So, yeah, I love the hair sticking up there. There's a few more of those figurines, little rat finks, among other things. Like I said, you come around and you look at everything that's displayed, and they have signed stuff from rock and roll artists and other artists, and you know, they've gotten and you know, the cool part is they have bought all these things or collect them for whatever means possible, trading or this, that, and the other, but they're, you know, they have taken on the responsibility for keeping our culture alive. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. What a trip. Appreciate you hanging with us here at Customikes, and I hope to see you again. Like, share, comment. You know what to do. It helps us a lot. See ya.